raking out all the crud in our life and all the junk. And God understands why it's there. Do you know that? He understands why it's there. God understands all of our stories. But He also knows that anger only harms us. And so His invitation to all of us today is simply this. Why don't you just get rid of it? Why don't you just get rid of it? So here are 3 action points to help us get rid of it. And you might kind of feel like you're on a doctor's couch or laying down right here, but I guarantee you these are working in my life. They've been working all week, amazingly. So please receive this from God. Number 1, identify who you are angry with. And this step is tricky, and here's why. Because our immediate response is to look in our immediate vicinity. And if we're struggling with anger, let me tell you, we'll immediately find someone that we think that we're angry with. But my challenge is this, to take some time and go back several seasons in life, and in that season, ask yourself this question: who am I angry with? And here's why this is important. Because when we've carried our anger around with us from season to season, it's easy to lose sight of the original source of our anger. And it could be that we've got an open account with somebody from way back. And we tend to think that we're just angry with these people. But the truth of the matter is, we need to go back to the original source of our anger and get that account book closed once and for all. So church, let's take some time and identify who we are angry with. And let me just say this to you as adults. Let's just be honest. I would say to you this morning, 90% of the time when I get angry at Edith, Kylie, or Mackenzie, when I pull myself back from it, I realize that I am experiencing displaced anger. So we as adults really need to understand that most of our anger, much of our anger, is really not directed to the person that we're angry with. It's from somebody way back. So it's important to identify who we are angry with. Okay? Number 2, identify what was taken from you. I'll be honest with you. This week is the first time I've ever done this, and it opened my eyes wide. Identify what was taken from you. This is huge. This is why some people have identity crisis. But that's another sermon, okay? If we are to forgive adequately, we need to specifically know what was taken from us. We need to know what we feel like this person owes us. And again, this takes some time, especially if we are carrying anger from a previous season in our life. Now think about it this way, okay? This will help clarify this in case you're foggy. If I owed you a bunch of money and you were going to cancel my debt, you would need to know how much I owed you for it to be meaningful, right? Sometimes we feel like, I know I should forgive this person, but I can't really pinpoint what I need to forgive them for. So we need to pray and ask God to help us to identify what was taken from us. Because when we figure out what someone owes us, what they've taken from us, it's a whole lot easier and a whole lot more meaningful when we choose then to forgive and cancel the debt. If you have questions on that, I would love to talk to you, because I've had a paradigm shift this week and been set free because I've done this. Okay? Number 3, cancel the debt. We've got to decide to forgive. We've got to make a decision to cancel the debt. And we should make a big deal over this. Maybe we need to make a list and then burn it or shred it. Maybe we need to invite someone to lunch and say, I know that you've hurt me, but I just want you to know that I've canceled the debt and you don't owe me anything. Maybe we need to delete some emails. Maybe we need to tear up some letters. My friends, canceling the debt is about letting go. Forgiveness is about letting go. And we need to stay in the habit, according to Paul here, of not letting the sun go down on our anger. We need to keep short accounts when it comes to anger. Because when we choose to forgive and cancel the debt, here's the whole ball of wax right here. When we choose to forgive and cancel the debt, this was the whole past 5 weeks has been about. It cleans out our hearts. And it's good to get your heart clean. And when God sees that we're willing to do this, you know what He does? He reaches down and He facilitates and He helps us get a changed heart. And changed hearts are so result in changed lives. Amen. So let me ask you today. Is everything... You mad at anybody? Got a short fuse and you don't know why? Do you find yourself just going off at the smallest little things? And of course, you kind of want to blame the people within 30 feet of you, but you have a suspicion that you're really not angry with them. You just kind of explode because you've been carrying this anger with you for so long. My friend, would you be willing to ask yourself some questions this morning? Would you be willing to make a list and identify what has been stolen from you? Would you like to get free? Would you like to let it go? Would you be willing, as Paul said, to just take the monster of anger and just get rid of it? You know what's exciting? It's possible. We can. We can get rid of it. Here's why. How? Because forgiveness is the power of anger. I feel impressed today to close a little differently. It's only 11:54. Because if you're like me, and I've really been processing this week, maybe you'd like to just spend some time with God before the service is out. And so, if we could turn on some soft music back there. I'm going to say a prayer, but I'm going to invite you, if you would like to just come forward. And we're going to make it this way this morning. Don't come forward and pray for somebody, okay? This is between them and God. Please don't come forward and say, who are you angry at? That probably wouldn't help too much, because it might be you. So let's not do that, okay? Let's just take a little time in God's presence and kind of process this. I really believe that some of us need to do that before we walk out of the building so that we can process this and talk to God about that. So I'm not going to ask you to stand, just right there where you sit. If you just want to come up here in God's presence and just talk to Him about some things, I invite you to do that. Let's bow our heads and close our eyes and let's talk to God. Father, before we even pray, we just want to stop and say we love you. Sometimes we can hear a message like this and you get all guilty feeling and there's all this condemnation, but that's really not what this message is about. It's not about condemnation. It's not about guilt. It's about realizing that anger only hurts us. And as your children, you lovingly say, hey, you don't have to deal with that. You really don't. You can get rid of it. And so, Lord, that's how we would respond. We want to get rid of it. And you're going to have to help us. So, Father, today, you see our hearts. You know our hurts, our pains. And, Lord, you know our excuses. You know who we like to blame. Father, would you please give us the courage to do something with what